Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Ikra Technology Wali and I am a student at Rehan School, Lahore campus. Today conduct interview with Maya. So let's start. Assalamu alaikum, Maya.
Hey
Assalamu
there.
Maya. Hello Maya. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. It's so good to hear from you. What's on your mind today?
Maya, my topic. Discuss how to practice self-compassion and forgive yourself. My first question, what does self-compassion mean?
I love that topic. In simple terms, self compassion is just treating yourself with the same kindness and support you'd give to a best friend. Instead of being your own harshest critic when you mess up, you basically decide to be your own ally. Does that make sense, or do you want a different angle on it?
Why is self-compassion important for mental and emotional well-being?
Because we're usually way harder on ourselves than we'd ever be with anyone else. When you stop the constant inner critique, it lowers your stress and actually makes you more resilient. It's a lot easier to get back up and try again when you're not spending all your energy beating yourself up for falling. Do you feel like you're generally kinder to others than you are to yourself?
How can self-compassion help us deal with mistakes and failures?
It turns a mistake from a dead end into a lesson. When you're compassionate with yourself, you stop obsessing over the I can't believe I did that part and start asking, what can I do differently next time? It keeps you from spiraling into shame, which is usually what actually stops people from improving.
What is the difference between self-compassion and self-pity?
That's a really important distinction. Self-pity is like getting stuck in your own suffering. It's that like why me feeling where you feel isolated in your pain. Self-compassion on the other hand is recognizing that struggling is just part of being human. It's not about feeling sorry for yourself. It's about acknowledging the pain and then supporting yourself through it. One pulls you deeper into the hole while the other helps you climb out.
Why do many people find it difficult to forgive themselves?
It's such a heavy burden to carry. I think it's because we feel like if we stop punishing ourselves, we're somehow letting ourselves off the hook or condoning what happened. But in reality, like the guilt just keeps us stuck in the past instead of letting us grow.
How can negative self-talk affect your self-esteem and confidence?
Negative self talk is like a constant background noise that tells you you're not enough. It slowly erodes your confidence because you start believing the lies your inner critic tells you. When your brain is stuck in a loop of I'm not good enough or I'll probably fail, it creates a mental fog that makes it impossible to see your own strengths. You end up playing small just to avoid the risk of confirming those negative thoughts.
What are some signals that you are being too hard on yourself?
One big sign is when you notice you're ruminating, just playing the same mistake over and over in your head like a bad movie. Another is when you find yourself using language with yourself that you'd never use with a friend, or if you feel a sense of dread whenever you make even a tiny error. Do you notice any of those patterns popping up for you?
How can practicing self-compassion improve your daily life?
It starts with the small things. You could try a compassion break when things get stressful. Just take a second to acknowledge this is a really hard moment right now and remind yourself that you're doing your best. Another great way is to keep a kindness journal, focusing on one thing you're proud of each day, no matter.
What steps can you take to forgive yourself for past mistakes?
First, you have to acknowledge what happened without trying to sugarcoat it, but also without judging yourself for it. Then try to look at the mistake through the lens of who you were back then, the tools you had, the stress you were under, and what you actually knew at the time. Forgiveness usually comes when you realize that you're not the same person who made that mistake. Do you think that perspective shift feels possible for you?
Way is accepting imperfections and important part of self compassion.
Absolutely. Accepting those flaws is basically the secret sauce. It's realizing that being perfect isn't the goal, being human is. When you stop fighting your imperfections, you finally have the space to actually grow from them.
What role does graduate play in self forgiveness?
I think you mean gratitude, right? It's a powerful tool because gratitude shifts your focus from what you did wrong to what you've learned and what you still have. Instead of staring at the mistake, you start noticing the growth that came from it, which makes it a lot easier to be kind to yourself.
How can learning from mistakes help you move forward?
It turns a mistake from a failure into a roadmap. When you treat a mistake as data instead of a character flaw, you stop fearing the process. It gives you a specific set of instructions on what to avoid and how to be better, which actually builds way more genuine confidence than if everything had just gone perfectly the first time. Have you ever had a moment where a mistake? I was just asking if you've ever had a moment where a mistake actually turned out to be a blessing in disguise.
What challenges made people face when trying for forgive themselves?
One of the biggest hurdles is the feeling that you're not allowed to move on until you've suffered enough. People often confuse forgiveness with permission, thinking that if they stop feeling guilty, it means they don't care about the mistake. There's also the fear that if they forgive themselves, they'll just do it again. So they keep the guilt around as a kind of warning system. It's a really exhausting way to live. Do you think that's why some people hold on so tightly to their regrets?
How can self compassion help during stressful or difficult times?
It acts like a mental shock absorber. Instead of adding the stress of why am I not handling this better on top of the situation, self compassion lets you just be where you are. It lowers the volume on the anxiety and gives you the breathing room to actually handle the problem instead of fighting your own emotions at the same time.
Okay, Maya, thank you. And Allah Hafiz.
You're so welcome. It was a really beautiful conversation.